What's up? What's up? Happy Monday, y'all. Welcome to Mondays with Muffy. I'm excited to talk to y'all again. Yes, I had to go on and switch up the time on y'all because 8 a.m. was not popping. It wasn't popping for me. It wasn't popping for y'all because yeah, it was a no for me. I was just invading my entire morning privacy. Like I need my morning to work out and to center myself and yeah, the 8 a.m. thing was not it was not for me. So I'm back at 10 a.m. So y'all will be able to catch me on Mondays at 10 a.m. We can talk, we can kiki, we're gonna talk about all the things, we're gonna talk to some people. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this weather, y'all. It is beautiful. And y'all know, listen, I don't know where you are hailing from watching this video, but I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I've had to explain to people that Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is one of the cloudiest cities in the United States. And so when the weather starts to get beautiful, when we start to get some sun, listen, it is no holds bar. We holds nothing back. We goes outside because the rest of the year it be feeling like dark and gloomy. So how are y'all feeling? How was your weekend? What did y'all do this weekend? Would love for you to tell me in the comments how you're doing, how your weekend went. StreamYard did something weird. This tech is always changing. Like it's always doing the extra amount. And it's not allowing me to stream into the Facebook group. It's only allowing me to stream on the Facebook page. So I have to like go get the video and then I have to post it into the group. So I'm going to do that while I tell y'all about my weekend. So this weekend was a eventful weekend in that I was in St. Louis for a conference. I have been a part of a project to do some dreaming for the last. I've been doing this project for like almost a year and a half now, maybe almost 2 years, with the Pittsburgh Foundation, where we've been focusing on like people's ability to dream, specifically Black folks' ability to dream in Pittsburgh. And it was really interesting because many of our groups realized that there is not a lot of space for Black folks in Pittsburgh in particular to dream, and that dream spaces are not being made in Pittsburgh because of all of the, if you don't know, you might know that there was a report that came out years ago that said that Pittsburgh was the most unlivable place for Black women in the entire nation. And so, of course, that was nothing that the Black women who live here don't know. Like we knew, oh, I forgot to tell you, I have my crown on this morning. I don't know why I have it on because I keep wearing hats whenever I show up here. Like the last two shows, I wore a hat, and so I was like, well, I'm just going to wear another hat. My last year, I hired a coach, and she gave us all these little crowns. So I said, I'm gonna put this one for y'all today. So I'll keep it on until I feel like taking it off. But anyway, so I'm at this conference because of the Pittsburgh Foundation's, like this dream work that Michelle McMurray had commissioned, and Latrinda brought me in, and we've been doing this work. So we interviewed a bunch of moms, and listen, we interviewed a bunch of moms from my community to figure out if they were dreaming. And you know what my mom told them? My mom told them, listen, we ain't got space for dreaming. We trying to take care of these kids. We got bills to pay. We got life is lifing for us. Dream space does not always exist for Black women. And I can relate to that as somebody who the last few years, it's been really difficult for me to dream. I'm going through the entire midlife crisis. Listen, the midlife crisis is crisising in my life. So many things I feel like I need to change, and still, having to do all the things, having to work and pay the bills, having to take care of the husband and the children, having to, make sure that life is, my basic needs are taken care of. And it's really difficult to get out of survival mode as a Black woman when you are still raising your children. And so we went to this conference to talk about the work that we have been doing and how we were managing to dream even in dire situations. Because everybody always thinks, because I'm the founder of Brown Mamas, that I'm rich in some way. And I be trying to tell people, listen, I am a regular working class individual living in Pittsburgh. Like there is nothing super special about the income that I have access to. I'm just trying to make it like everybody else. But how have I managed to still do things that I dream about? And quite honestly, it's because oftentimes I don't be worried about whether I'm making money or not. I just be wanting to do stuff like this. I'm not making any money doing this. I'm just doing this because it brings me joy, for real, for real. I told y'all I love talking to y'all. I love engaging. This is my cathartic way of sharing myself. And so I just want to do more of it. And so that's how I'm dreaming here in Pittsburgh. But I wanted to, at the conference, it became very abundantly clear of, because the conference is called the Association of Black Founder Executives Conference. Um, and of course, I got to go to all these fabulous sessions and just hear folks talk about the challenges of being a Black nonprofit or being a Black person in philanthropy. Some of the big things were like, number one, Black people who are taking care of other Black people don't take care of themselves. Number two, it's very difficult to get foundations to trust Black led organizations to give us money. And a lot of times it's because they think we don't know what to do with money. And I can agree with certain parts of that, because it's like Black folks we really struggle with financial literacy on a personal level. So let alone like running a business that has hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars can be a daunting task. But it's like we got to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. Black people cannot always be the people who have to be the last trusted, the last funded, the last everything. And so it was really interesting to be in that atmosphere and environment. It actually made me think about an interview that I had done. So I'm low key recording for a podcast. I've done 4 interviews so far. I actually have 2 interviews scheduled for, it's either this week or next week. I think it's next week. I'm low key recording a podcast. I don't know. It's supposed to come out in October. We will see. But I had the beautiful experience of interviewing Tammy Thomas, who is one of the Black founders, nonprofit execs in Pittsburgh, who I really admire and who I think has been in the game long enough that she can just shed so much wisdom on many of our experiences that we have. And one of the things that we talked about that I ended up talking to other founders about at the conference was just the fact that a lot of times funders don't trust Black folks. And so I wanted to play y'all a snippet. I'm going to play y'all a snippet of an interview that I recorded with Tammy, and who else was there? Shannon Hughes was there also. So I'm going to play y'all a snippet, and then we're just going to chat about it briefly before we move on to the next topic. So let me see if I can do this. Share my screen, share a screen. Let me see if it's going to let, there we go. I'm going to play y'all a snippet. I'm going to see. We're going to talk about it.
That's right.
It's not the responsibility. What do you think, Tam?
Oh boy, I have so many thoughts.
I know you have so many thoughts.
Um, so I've been around for a minute now. I will say that it takes a long time. Here's what I do know: funders are funding relationships; they're not funding programs, and that's unfortunate. Right? They're funding who they like. They're funding who they can relate to. They're not funding programs.
Right.
And that's unfortunate because there's a lot of really great organizations doing great work that just might not be the person who can go, that has that thing where they can go and
Right.
build those relationships because they're doing the work. They shouldn't have to be making you feel comfortable, right? Or and it just,
Campaigning and whatnot.
so the benefit, I know, I recognize that I and our organization benefit from my personality,
Right.
and because I understand the importance of building those relationships, and I've invested a lot of time and energy in doing so. But I agree with Shannon. We don't take money from everybody. We've had people offer money and say no because you want to shut me up.
Mm-hmm.
Being a very transparent and being able to say the thing, to point out the thing that is wrong, that is causing us to have to do the work in the first place, is very important to me. That we are being able to sit down across from a program officer and say, hey, we wouldn't have to do this if that weren't real,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I really felt like that was important. Like I really resonated with that when I listened back to that interview. I really resonated with that part in particular because I know that the bottom line is business is a game. It is a game that you have to play and you have to be able to build those relationships. But I can also I tell you all the time, I really am an introvert. Like, I can do this very well. I can do stage presence very well. Like, that's just who I am as a person. I can do being out in front very well. But when it comes to like groups of people, I prefer to sit back. I prefer, if we're ever out and there's a group of people, trust me, you're going to see me sitting at a table either by myself or with one other person, because I don't like big groups of people. But I also can really resonate with what, but I'm really good at building relationships. Like, I'm really good at networking and talking to people and getting to the crux of things, like understanding things and interpreting and communicating. Essentially, I'm really good at communicating. And so I do think that when you are the founder of a nonprofit or the CEO, you have to have those relationship building skills. And it's all about, like, again, we're going back to the Amanda Seales things with likability. Like, it's like, is likability is a thing. We hate that it's a thing, because it's like, should I have to be likable to be able to solve the problem? And the answer is absolutely not. If a person is solving a problem, why do we need to be able to like them? But that is the truth of what it is. And listen, before I was able to start getting grants for Brown Mamas, I remember looking every quarter or whenever at the fund, at who'd been funded. It was the same people over and over and over again. And now that Brown Mamas is also one of those organizations, I realized it's because you had to build a relationship. You had to build a relationship. You had to do the work to be trusted. But the reality is, it had nothing to do with whether or not I was actually solving a problem. And so it's really interesting to really see these dynamics playing out in Pittsburgh, but also all over the country, where you realize that, yes, I know that Brown Mamas, like, it solves a vital problem of Black women being disconnected in the city of Pittsburgh. I know that. It's great. I love it. But I sometimes wonder, if I wasn't who I was, would the problem have, like, would the solution have been as catchy as it was, or would it have, like, would so many people have gravitated to it? Would funds have gravitated to it? And I think that's a real question you have to ask yourself when you are leading a business, when you are founding something. Is like, do I have the social chops to be able to get this thing moving? And like, for me, one of the things I realize is I am not a great manager of people. I need managers. I need managers all the time. I can visualize, I can lead. I can rah cheer y'all to the finish line. I can give y'all a vision to go with. The vision's going to be dope. It's going to be solid. It's going to be unique. Like, I can do that all day, but I'm just not a great manager of people, because I am an introvert, and because I'm not good at surface talk and all that type of stuff. And so I'm gonna take my hat off now, y'all, because I can't do it. This thing is a little bit heavy. Look, I'm gonna show y'all. Clink. It's heavy. No, thank you. So yeah, just really recognize. I hate looking in here because then I can't see what's with my hair. I can't tell. But really recognizing that, like, it takes a real person. Like, everybody has their strengths. Yep. But everybody has. Let's see. Oh, Brittany's back. What's up, Brittany? And that truth is counterintuitive to what we would think it takes to get funding, support, etc. We think, oh, this solves a big problem. The funders will run to it, but they won't. They run the money to the people they like. Yeah, it's the truth. It is the truest of truth. But here's what I will say: if you are actually solving a problem, and and people are telling you that, people are going to tell you at the end of the day, if your business is solving a problem that people gravitate towards, the people are going to tell you. Because I spent the first 5 years of running Brown Mamas, I wasn't getting any money from funders, but people were gravitating to my idea. So I knew that I should keep going. I knew that this was actually solving a problem. So what you may want to do, if you know that you're not that person, you may need to look for a co-founder. Like, it is what it is. You're going to need somebody. You're going to need somebody to go be that rah cheer raw person. And it's no different in any other arena. That's the thing. Whether your business is for profit or nonprofit, if you're a for-profit business and you can't go network with VCs in order to get funding, yeah, it's such a double-edged sword. And I hate it. Like, I'll be the first to tell you, I hate it. I think it's horrible, but it just is what it is. Like, you've got to be a person who can, it's just a part of life. Yeah, look, where's that book at? Let me see. I don't know where it's at. Anyway, 48 Laws of Power. You need to go read it. You need to go read it. You've got to be the type of person who is multifaceted. It is what it is. Like, I wish it wasn't that, but it is. So that's that. Wanted to talk about that, but I had a great weekend in St. Louis. Had an opportunity to see a little bit of the city. Um, Met some really great people, and I love when I'm able to go outside of the city and meet people that I didn't know in the city. I ended up meeting a sister named Saray and Tika. I never met them before, and they were mad cool. I really enjoyed their company. Um, and yeah, so I had a really good weekend. The weather was trash in St. Louis, but by the last day it got better. And then when I came home yesterday and it was beautiful, yeah, I loved it. What was the best part of the conference? The best part of the conference for me was just meeting new people. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm not a person who is like always out. So the best, and then also I had an opportunity to go to a speakeasy. So that's one of my things that I do when I'm out in other cities. I find speakeasies because I love the idea of something being hidden and then finding something. And so that was the best part for me. Benjamin Crump was there and gave the closing note for the conference, but I missed that. But I heard it was really, really good because I had to travel back to Pittsburgh and I was traveling most of the day on Saturday, so I couldn't go. But yeah, that's what I remember so far. And I had a great weekend. How was your weekend? Y'all ain't tell me in the comments how y'all weekend was. I would love to talk about y'all, but y'all got to tell me in the comments. How was your weekend? What did you do? If you tell me later, I'll talk about it later. So, all right. Moving on. Y'all already know there was another very interesting. First of all, tell me if you watched the interview on with Club from Club Shay Shay with Amanda Seales. Y'all know we talked about Amanda Seales 2 weeks ago. Cause when they first started messing with her, that was pissing me off. And so finally, so I don't know. Oh, Dominique said she went to the August Wilson block party. I seen all of the videos and pictures. It looked like it was dope, like it is every year. I really liked seeing the kids in the bubble pit. I thought that was really dope. I'm glad that they added that for the kids. So yeah, I'm glad you had fun, Dominique. Thank you for sharing with me. What else? So yeah, back to Amanda Seales. So I was pissed off anyway. The day before Amanda Seales announced that interview, um, you know that she was supposed to be interviewed by Essence. That she was supposed to interview the founder of Essence Magazine, not the founder, CEO of Essence Magazine on her podcast, and they canceled. They canceled 3 hours before the interview. And then the next day, she's getting interviewed by Shannon Sharp. I'm just so unappreciative of all of I'm so unappreciative and disappointed in black media and what it's become. Media across the board. So I don't know if y'all know this about me, but my founding of my career was in communications. I've worked in radio, I've worked in print journalism. And I knew back then that it was dying. It was a dying breed because actually, when I was working in radio, I was trying to get them to do more stuff online. And that's how I started Brown Mamas because they wouldn't do nothing. Because they was like, look, it was because it was new. And you know, old black people, look, old black people be clutching to shit for dear life. We got to hold on to this. And it don't make no damn sense. This is why we can't get ahead of as a people sometimes, I think, because old black people don't know when to sit the hell down. It's not your turn anymore. Go sit down. So anyway, moving on from there. So back then, that's why I started working for myself because that's how I founded Brown Mamas. Because I was like, I'm going to start doing something online. Since y'all want to do nothing online, since y'all posting these little snippets online that ain't nobody watching, I'm gonna start doing my own thing online. And that's what I did. That's how I started building brownmamas.com and posting my content on there. And so anyway, back to what I was saying. I knew back then that black media was failing because it was no longer original, because we weren't reporting on our stuff. We were just basically following what everybody else reports. And that's really what we're seeing now with Essence, with The Root. They're just following pop culture. They're not actually investigating the issues and causes that are integral to the black female experience or the black experience at all. And so this is why they end up coming up short so often. And with the Amanda Seales thing, especially with Essence, it was so disappointing that they would come for this Black woman like this. Again, if you don't follow Amanda Seales on social media, you absolutely should be following her. Because one thing about Amanda Seales is she is going to say the thing, like Tammy said, she is going to say the thing when nobody else says the thing. She is going to say what everybody else in the room is thinking. And that is what I appreciate about her, is that I can go to her channel when there's something happening in the Black world, and she's going to talk about it from a transparent perspective. I don't always agree with what she says, but what I know for sure is that she's talking about it transparently. And that's what we cannot trust Black media to do. So when she went on Club Shay Shay, I was optimistic. I was like, oh, this sister's going to get a chance to get her word out. And what did this Black man do? He second guessed everything she said. He fought back even on stuff that she had already demystified for him. Do you know how many times in that interview he kept saying she was married, her mother was a white woman, after she, on countless references. Number one, she kept saying that her mother was West Indian. Number two, she kept speaking in a West Indian voice when she was referring to her mother. So clearly this is a Black woman. Even down to her autism. I don't care. This was my thing, because people were like, well, she has already said that she was not clinically diagnosed as autistic. I understand. First of all, you have to understand he does. He really, let me post what my husband just said up here. Listen. Shannon struggles with high IQ interview. Listen. It was so apparent that he was out of his league interviewing this woman. This Black woman. And this is the thing that made me so upset about it, is just like, why in the world, as a Black man, would you not feel the need to protect this Black woman? Even if she's wrong, be soft with her. Understand that if she is wrong, there's probably some hurt part of her. There is something that is hurt. There is something that may need mending. And as Black men, I don't understand for the life of me why sometimes y'all don't feel the need to protect us. So from the very beginning of the interview, he was combative. And it like I almost didn't make it through the first 45 minutes because he was so cringy. He was so cringy to her. And like I said, even though she had said she's come out publicly and said she's not received a clinical diagnosis of autism, but she's an older woman that is now realizing she has a problem. And so I don't think that y'all, or some people, I won't say y'all, but some people understand how difficult that can be for an older Black woman who may have known since she was younger, that, because she talks about when she was younger, like basically being isolated and being outcasted because of her personality. So maybe there were some things that were there when she was younger that her parents did not catch. And now as an older woman, she's realizing that there may be some parts of her that may be out of alignment with what everybody else needs. And as far as I'm concerned, autism is just a result of new ways of learning. I don't think we understand in this country that the way our language is written is so vastly different from the way languages are written in other countries. And as immigrants, because Black folks are immigrants, we are not originally from this land. Our ancestors did not interpret language the way even the people that are from this land interpreted language similar to the way Africans, interpreted language before we came over to this country. So it may take a few generations for that to work itself out. But I just say that to say that why do we have no grace for Black women? Why? Right. That's what I feel. I feel like we are all on the spectrum, Dion. No lie. Because there have been times when I'm like, damn, I think I got ADHD. Because it's hard for me to stay on track with stuff. I get to a point and then I give up. Or I quit and I'm on to the next thing. But I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying is like, give this woman some grace. Everywhere she goes, nobody gives her no grace. Even though the fact of the matter is that if we want to know the truth about what's going on in Black America, somebody who's going to, not to mention this woman has a degree from Columbia University, a master's degree. I don't know if it's a doctorate or not, but this woman is highly educated. This is not some woman who just came off of the boat and was like, oh, well, I'm going to start talking about stuff. No, this is a highly educated woman. Why are we not giving her flowers? And at the very least, being grateful that we still have people who are willing to go out on a limb to say the things that nobody wants to say in our culture. Like that whole thing just, ugh, it made me so upset. I could not. And I think it just goes to show that there is only so many versions of Black women that are still acceptable in the United States of America. Being an awkward Black girl is still not accepted. Being an intelligent Black woman who is not afraid to be, who is not afraid to speak her mind, who is not afraid to ask for what she wants, who is not afraid to, be in alignment with her divine will and need, desire, and God's. Like, it frustrates me. I may have to leave it there because I can't. Let's see. It's full circle to chat about funding. People, okay, I'm taking that down because I'll talk about that. I'll go back to that later, Brittany. Yeah. Oh, you was okay. You was talking about okay. It's full circle to chat about funding. People support him, but he isn't a positive representative of the culture necessarily. He's for entertainment, not enlightenment. Agreed. But the thing is that we don't have very many spaces. Even though everybody and their mama got a podcast, including me. Look, I'm here. But we don't have enough spaces. We don't have enough spaces where Black enlightenment is. Maybe you talking to me, God. Let me put myself. We don't have enough spaces where it is cool to be Black and enlightened, where we are actually promoting Black enlightenment, where we are promoting Black truth, where we are promoting like discourse between Black folks. It makes me so frustrated that Black people are not able to have conversations and disagree to disagree. Like, I don't understand why we can't do that without cutting each other down. Why do we all, I mean, and in that way, I feel like we've taken on some of the characteristics of our oppressor, because it is our oppressor who refuses to have conversation about the things that affect humanity. We should not be that way as Black folks. We should be open to talking about the things and discussing the things, especially since we were captured and brought to this land. And so, and that was acceptable when it was done. So in my opinion, Black folks should question everything. Like, there's nothing we should not question. And if there's anything that we're not questioning, I'm questioning you as to why you're not questioning it. That's the way I look at people. If I meet somebody and I'm like, matter of fact, we're going to talk, because even that section, prime example, when she was talking about a psychic or a medium, and he gonna be like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. See, Stevie Wonder told y'all, when you believe in things that you don't understand, superstition takes the way. And most Black folks who are Christians don't even understand Christianity. They ain't even really read it. All they done read is the Bible. They ain't read none of the surrounding text. They ain't studied it from a historical perspective, or actually went and figured out who were those tribes of people. Half of the people will be talking about stuff in the Bible and they don't even know where those places were actually located. But when she broke it down and she said to him, it's just like prayer. Being a medium is no different than being prayer. Prayer and meditation go hand in hand. Matter of fact, if you're not mediating, if you're not meditating, that means you're not even giving God time to talk to you. That means you blabbering off to God, I want, give me. But you ain't taking out no time to listen. Because all a medium is a person who is set still long enough that they can become a conduit for what God is putting out into the world. And most of y'all ain't sitting still long enough. Most of y'all just, I do, I want, all the time. And ain't taking out no time to be a medium. A medium is just somebody who holds space. They're able to hold space, physical space, emotional space, spiritual space, intellectual space, all at the same time. We should be applauding these people. Now, like she said, any energy can be used for negative means. Should we know Christianity was used to bring us over here and enslave us for 400 years? So anything can be used negatively. But as Black folks, we got to get out of this thing where we're like, oh, it's bad because I don't know about it. You sound stupid. I'm telling you, to enlighten Black folks, when you get around folks and they're unwilling to have a conversation and they want to argue you down about everything and they're not willing to hear your perspective, that's why I don't argue with people no more. I just like, you stupid. You don't deserve my time or space. And I hope Amanda Seales gets there to that place where she realizes these people are stupid. Don't give them your time or your space. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. So moving on, moving on to the next space. I wanted to talk about. So y'all know last week it's not officially a law. Well, I need to bring up the article and bring it up about TikTok so I can make sure I'm speaking. So there is a potential TikTok ban sitting in the, let's see. So basically, the original proposal that was sent to President Biden, that President Biden is supposed to sign. So it says a measure to outlaw the popular video sharing app has won congressional approval and is on its way to President Biden for his signature. So it's sitting on his desk. The measure gives Beijing-based parent company ByteDance, which is the company that owns TikTok, 9 months to sell the company with a possible additional 3 months if a sale is in progress. If it doesn't, TikTok will be banned. So basically what they're saying is TikTok is going to get banned by President Biden if they don't sell it within 9 months. Because basically what the folks is saying, what the people is saying is that the TikTok has way too much influence on American culture and is not owned by an American company. So therefore, all kinds of sneaky stuff could be happening there. We could get some of the Putin's people in there. Chinese people can be influencing our children and our culture, and the government don't like that. And while I do agree, because listen, let me tell you something. If my youngest son comes to me and talks to me one more time about something he's seen on TikTok, this child then asked me about the earth being flat. This child then asked me about aliens at NASA. This child then asked me about so many things that he didn't seen on TikTok. And I'm like, sir, TikTok is not the news. You've got to vet your sources. I tell them all the time. If you see it on TikTok, I need you to Google it and make sure, and then come to me and show me your references. But what I will say is if he's getting misinformed, I'm sure there are tons of people getting misinformed. However, so China doesn't use TikTok, Dominique. Okay, I'm gonna need to find that source. I'm gonna need to find that source that says that. But yeah, I do feel like it's censorship. Even though I understand what the potential implications could be for, our country. But I also feel like there's so much happening, and there's so much not happening in media right now. Like there are so many angles that are not being taken. There are so many conversations that are not being had. We've seen over the weekend, or over this last week and the weekend, all of the what's it called? What's the word I want to use? Basically, the students are not being allowed to protest on college campuses, where we know many times that's where revolutions start in the United States. That's where new ideas spring up that could be potentially good for the common, good of the United States. Our young people essentially are conscious in this country, and they're being stopped from protesting. And we all know what's happening in overseas. And we all know that many of us, especially Black folks who have experienced extreme oppression in this country, do not, we do not agree with what's happening in the Middle East. We don't want to see people of color or any people being oppressed, especially not to the degree that they're being oppressed in the Middle East. And so I think that most of us don't agree with it. I'm going to read some of y'all's comments. I feel like the rush to have it banned is also due to the upcoming election. I'd like to hear more of that, because I'm not making that connection, but I could see how that could be something. Well, oh yeah, because of the misinformation. Agreed. I thought the version of TikTok China uses is only a version based strictly on education. It could potentially be, because Chinese they are openly a censorship They openly censor their population. Dominique said, and I use TikTok, wanted to grow my business there, but I'm not mad at their decision. Right. And it is a great place. This is what I'll say about TikTok. Um, you can go there and get a great fan base. Now, the conversions over there ain't so great, which means basically it's hard to convert to your business, like to your business website or something like that. But you can definitely go there and like grow your fan base. Mikhail said it's political. The US government wants to control. They prefer to have Facebook within this because it is led by a friend. Great. Yep. That makes sense. Absolutely. Because Facebook do what they want. All right. So yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I think the TikTok ban, the stopping of protest on these college campuses, the really we only got black and white media in the United States. I don't feel like there's very many people taking in that middle gap and actually having public discourse that is, riveting, that is bringing in multiple viewpoints. At this point, our media is mimicking our political system. It's either one or the other. Either you watch Fox News or CNN, but neither one of them is really presenting a balanced view. And I think when we're stopping young people from expressing their opinions, because this is the thing about young people, they are looking up at the world. They're not looking at the world on eye level. They're looking up at the world. And so I think we always have to have spaces where young people can say what's on their minds, because they're bringing a new and almost enlightened view of what we're doing when they're protesting, when they're dissenting. And so if we're going to be a country that doesn't allow dissent, that is highly problematic. And it has the ability to affect not just our government, but it has the ability to affect everything, our school systems, how our infrastructure in our country. If we're not going to allow public discourse at this point, and even, when all the stuff was happening with George Floyd, and we seen how destructive the media was, even the liberal media was, in terms of describing what was happening in Black communities. And so I think we have to get to a point where we find more ways to advocate for the truth in our country. So whether that's supporting Amanda Seales and the truth teller that she is, or whomever, like who is actually having discourse on subjects that are important to us and actually presenting multiple viewpoints, and not when those multiple viewpoints are being presented acting as if I'm too haughty for that information, or that information does not matter. All viewpoints need to be considered. And I'm not saying, again, in terms of the TikTok ban, I could see how that could be problematic. But at the end of the day, the real problem with most of our media is it's not run by ordinary people. It's run by people that are looking down on us. It's run by people that don't even have the American experience. It's not run by us. And until we have media that is truly for the people and by the people, it's always going to be destructive. It's always going to be it's always going to be not for us. It's always going to present viewpoints that dumb us down as a culture. And especially with the state of voting in the United States, it's almost like the media is working against us to stop us from being intelligent, from being scholars who can have conversations and agree to disagree and still support each other. So that's my thought process on the TikTok ban. I don't have an interview this week. The lady I was supposed to interview got sick. So it is what it is. It's just me. It's just me. That's all y'all get this week. Just me. So I'm going to, okay. Mainstream media's job is no longer for the people. It's for the ad money. True. And at this point, I don't even think it's for the ad money. I think mainstream media is just, it's a leg of the government to stop us from like actually being intelligent. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all this week. Well, I do have, what I did today, because you are enough. Absolutely. So, thank you. Thank you, Dion. I hope that I'm enough. So my message for today actually comes from, well, wait, there's some more comments. Let me just read them. The amount of effort that has gone into TikTok ban is unfortunate because there are a lot of problems that need addressed that they'd rather overlook. Agreed. Agreed. There's lots of problems to be solved, around these parts that just are not getting that type of attention. But I do think we have to pay very close attention to what's happening with media because people don't realize most people spend an exorbitant amount of time on their cell phones. I do. I spend more time on my cell phone than I would like to admit. We are all indulging in media on a regular basis, and anything that is taking up that much of the American public's time needs to have a watchdog, in my opinion, because we know it has an extreme ability to influence us. And so, yeah. So my message for this week is that maybe it's time to collaborate. Maybe it is time to do the work, not by yourself, but with others. So I pulled a card this morning and it was the Ant Spirit card. And it was interesting because when I opened up my box, I have a box that I keep that these cards came in, and this card was sitting on the top. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna shuffle them and pick another one because I'm not gonna pick the one that was right on top. And then I shuffled them, picked another one, still got this card. So I'm just gonna read it to y'all. And maybe this resonates with you, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is a message for you this morning, and maybe it's not. And maybe it's a message for me. Let's see. It says, when Ant Spirit comes to visit, it's time to celebrate the benefits of working in partnership with others or as part of a community or tribe. Spirit reminds you that to build your dream, you need to work with others, accept help, and trust in your most important partnerships, especially the one you have with Spirit. Your intentions will come to fruition if you remain awake and focused on co creating your reality with others and with Spirit. Remember that the world around you can easily seduce you if you don't have some sort of practice or discipline like meditation to keep you on track as you build the life you desire. Connecting with others and having accountability partners can be very helpful, as it's unlikely that everyone will fall asleep at the same time. The other message Ant Spirit holds is that you are now at an auspicious time to ask for help and receive it. Whether you need help assembling a team, finding a new tribe, or requesting assistance from others who are from others who are there for you, everything is working to support you right now. And then the protection message is, do you really believe that you have to do everything? Do you believe that somehow any help you get will be disappointing or not good enough? Perhaps it's time to address your issues of control and bias toward the negative. It doesn't matter where or why you came to be pessimistic or mistrustful. The fact that Ant Spirit is showing up right now is a sign that you have an opportunity to heal and to relearn to trust that others will show up for you in a genuine way. Ant Spirit wants you to remember that your expectations and limiting beliefs are vibrational offering that draws in the opposite of what you desire. Spirit wants to help you and will send collaborative partners your way. It's time to see the universe as conscious and connected, loving and helpful, but you must participate in the activity of co-creation. Creating reality is not just about dreaming. If you are feeling orphaned from community, reach out and communicate. If you feel vulnerable, know that being present in your vulnerability can help you draw in someone who wants to assist you. Trust in your partnership with Spirit, and your outer conditions will start to reflect that. Then you will see the miracles waiting for you, including partners who appear ready to lend a hand. So, in essence, find your people, y'all. Don't stay on the island. You can't be on the island. Well, you can. You can absolutely be on the island, but you will be there alone and you will not have the support that you need. Don't forget to ask for help this week. Don't forget to allow people to be in your space. Don't forget that when you need to rest, take a rest and allow somebody else to do that thing. But also just don't forget to work in partnership. Sometimes we are activating our lives and we're frustrated and we're sad and we're disappointed and we don't realize it's because we're trying to do everything by ourselves. And that's just not real. All right, y'all. Have a awesome Monday. I will talk to you later, Brittany. I will talk to you later, Jasmine, Francis, Dominique. Thank y'all for joining Mondays with Muffy. I will talk to y'all next Monday. Remember, I will be on at 10 a.m., not 8 a.m. no more. That time didn't work for you, and it didn't work for me. So I will see y'all at 10 a.m. next Monday. And I actually will have a pretty dope interview for y'all next Monday. I'm going to be interviewing a woman who sold her business. And that's the reason why I wanted to interview her. And she moved to Mexico. All right, sis, bruh, whomever is watching, I will talk to y'all later. Have an awesome Monday. Peace.